listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast by Dr. T. Michael W. Halcomb, Dr. Fredrick J. Long, Dr. Mario Melendez, Dr. Jennifer Noonan, and J. M. Smith. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Proof Text. I am Michael Halcomb and I'm here with Dr. Fred Long. This is a GrammarPoint episode. We've been talking about nouns, and in the previous episode we talked about the dative, and in this episode, the accusative. So that is the etietike patosis, the accusative case.
Yeah, the accusative case. So it's the case of direct object often. So that which is transferred in the action of the verb. So like he gave a book to Sue. What was given is the book. And then that would be accusative case often. And then the to Sue or to Bob, whoever receives the book, that would be the dative case, which we talked about last time. So the dative case, the accusative case is a case of direct object and also of extension. And so there are different, the idea of extension is particularly seen when it comes to time words, like something was done over a period of time, extending, that is would be the accusative case. And so that's one of the uses of the accusative case. So in my Koine Greek Grammar, chapter 23.6, I talk about special uses of the accusative. It can function as a direct object, which we've mentioned. It can function as the subject of infinitive clauses. So infinitive is a verbal noun, and there are different constructions with infinitives. And often the accusative is used to indicate the noun, or the subject of that infinitive. I guess technically it's called an accusative of reference.
Yeah,
but anyway,
crazy construction. Yeah,
it's a crazy construction. Yeah, so you need to kind of think infinitives and accusatives. If you see an infinitive, look for accusative, and then it can get kind of tricky. Which one is the subject? Which one might be the direct object of that clause? But one common use, apart from the direct object, is sometimes verbs take two objects. So you might have a double accusative. So, for example, Jesus says in Matthew 4:19, "I will make you fishers of people." And what's kind of fun about these double accusative constructions is my classics professor described that one of them, when you have a double accusative or double object construction, one of them exists before the action of the verb, and then the other one is produced or comes out of the action of the verb. It's like a meat grinder. It goes through the action and comes out. So in this case, I will make you fishers of people. Which one of them exists outside of the action? Which one of them is kind of produced in the action of the verb? So I will make you fishers of people. Well, the you starts outside of that action, and in the process of the action is made into fishers. And so the one that is outside of the action is called the external object, and the one that is kind of produced as the product or byproduct of the verbal activity is called the internal object. And often to discern the difference between the two is really interesting. So the internal object is often affected or produced by the verb. Cognate accusative is something that you see, like Jesus says in Matthew 6:19, "Store up for yourselves, treasure up treasures in heaven." So treasuring up is a cognate with treasures. And so this is just something that has some oral impact to get across a point, the point there being treasuring. And what do you treasure, and where are you treasuring that treasure? And of course, he's contrasting earth and heaven. And so double accusative and cognate accusatives are really kind of neat kind of constructions.
I've often heard that described as like a very a Semitic rhetorical device. But the
Yeah.
more I study, I don't buy that. I think
Yeah.
it's prominent in Hebrew,
Yeah.
but I don't think it is
Yeah.
a Semitic thing,
Yeah.
right?
It's not
Um,
solely found in Semitic literature. Yeah.
we,
Like,
we do that in English
yeah.
all the time. Build a building,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know, all
Yeah.
kinds of things, but um, you see it in Hawaiian as well. Like it's prominent, and you see it all over Greek. So yeah, I don't. But a lot of
Hmm.
commentaries will say that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's helpful to be cautious of that. So accusatives can work as direct objects, and there's different kinds of double direct object constructions. They can work with infinitives, and then there's a broader class of use called adverbial accusatives. And we've already mentioned one, accusative of time. We could talk about accusatives of reference or respect. Um, so a lot of times tapanta, sometimes there'll be this word all things just kind of thrown in there, and it's not the direct object, and it probably is then functioning adverbally to mean like with respect to everything. So that's one noun or pronoun that's used a lot in that kind of construction. You have manner, accusative of manner, like don't be great. Jesus says, you're greatly deceived. Well, the word greatly there is an accusative adverb, accusative form of a adjective, palu, and so you have that kind of construction. Um, yeah, so those are the main accusative uses: accusative time, respect, reference, manner, um, and it's used in oaths, which is kind of a very rare kind of construction in the New Testament. But you can adjure someone with the accusative being the person that you're adjuring them by. So, for example, 1 Thessalonians 5:27, Paul says, "I adjure you by the Lord that this epistle be read to all the brethren." So that's an oath formula um, that you can have accusative of oaths. So that's the accusative case. The last case will be vocative, but we've gone over the main cases except for the vocative.
All right. Well, we'll stop there, and yeah, we hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.